Hello everyone, I'm Hugo, a member of the AEC Digital Transformation team at Pentagon Solutions, and in this short video I'm going to talk about Dynamo for Revit and the use of a script to quickly create several sheets. Whether you are creating a custom project template or working on an actual project, the creation of sheets and assignment of some common parameters can take some time that could be invested in more important tasks. With Dynamo for Revit, you can use the intuitive visual programming interface to perform these repetitive tasks using a simple enough script that does the task for you in a matter of seconds. Okay, so I created this Revit test project to show how Dynamo can almost instantly create some sheets as much as you need, and at the same time also feed some parameters. So for example, here for these sheets, I have sheet type A for architectural and sheet subtype floor plans, just as a means of an example. And you'll see that I'll ask also Dynamo to feed all of the sheets with this title block. So essentially what I need is an Excel file populated with that information into some columns. So in here I have the sheet numbers of the sheets that will be created, sheet names, the sheet subtype. So I have architectural and fire as a means of example, and all of them will be in the sheet subtype of floor plans. So in here, I've already organized my project browser to be sorted and grouped by sheet type and sheet subtype. You can do that quickly here, just editing or creating a new profile, let's call it that. So here in my grouping, I selected my parameter or the parameter from the project called sheet type to be the first parameter in which sheets will be grouped, and then they are grouped by sheet subtype. We'll see this in action at the end of this video. Okay, so now that I have the data, I'll just launch Dynamo. So manage tab, Dynamo, and I'll open a script that I've already created for the video. It would take too much time, unfortunately, to show everything. So in here, I'll just maximize this. As you can see, this is a type of programming or scripting, very visual. It's quite easy to understand, and I created some groups to make it even easier. So we'll have a stage of importing the data, treating that data, specifying the Revit parameters that we want to feed, and then the output. So just one piece of advice: when you're still trying your script, try to freeze the nodes for the output. So every little function, every little block from this script is called a node, and it basically does something. It has an input and an output in most cases. Okay, so first the import data stage. In here we will ask or just tell the script what is the file that has the information that we need to feed. Okay, that's correct. So I'll just close that, open. So that's my list2 Excel file. then it just does the import from Excel. I don't know really the specifics of all of these nodes. There is a library of functions, pretty much like you have in any programming language or even Excel, some kind of formula. If you can think of what you're trying to do, start typing, and probably you'll find a function or a node to do that. All right, so then this data is treated. It's reading that data. At the moment, it's null because I haven't run the workflow, but I'll just make sure again that the output is frozen. Yeah, I've run that, and once you run it, you'll see what the software is reading, what are the results that you should expect at the end. So yeah, it's reading my columns, sheet number, sheet name, the sheet type and sheet subtype, but at this moment it doesn't know what it is. It's just values or figures for it. So in our second group, we have the data treatment. So in here, we are just making sure that it has brought up our list. In this one, we have to swap the rows and columns in the list for it then to convert as we need. So basically, for our index 00 or our index 0, we have, as we saw here, I'll just pin this again, we have the sheet numbers. So we'll get the values from that index 0 and then feed it into something else. Same for column 1, index 2, and index 3. Okay, so then we just have here these Revit parameters. I'll explain them after talking about this node here. So this node, sheet by name, number, title block, and views. Basically, what it does is it is fed with these parameters and data, and then it creates a sheet at the end, or a number of sheets in this case. So basically, in our index 0, we have the sheet number. So we follow that and just link it to our sheet number. In our index 1, we had the sheet name. We can see it here as well. So sheet name, so we link it to the sheet name input. So like I said, it's pretty much inputs and outputs. Then it's asking us for the title block family type. We don't have that in Excel, but because this is connected to the project that we are working on in Revit, every family type that we have in that project is available here. So we just need to get this node family type. So if you want to get a node, you just need to type it here and it will come up, and you just need to drag and drop it. So this means that every sheet will be populated with this title block. And then we also have to give it a view. It doesn't create any view, but it needs a view type to function. All right, so then, as I said, we need to feed, or we want to feed the sheet type and sheet subtype as well to organize our project browser. So that's the index 2 and 3 from our list. So A for architectural, F for fire, and floor plans for all of the sheet subtypes. So basically, we get this node that will feed that element with a given parameter. Okay, so in this sheet, or from this sheet, I'll just unfreeze this now. From this sheet, it will give it an element, and the parameter name will come from this string, and the value comes from our index 2. And the same logic here at this last node, where we get our sheet subtype. Okay, this may seem like a lot, and I just get out of breath when explaining this kind of stuff, but it's very, very logical. You just basically need to follow the same structure as you would do when creating things manually. Creating the sheet, giving it a title block, giving it a sheet type, a sheet subtype, for example. So now if I run this, I'll just minimize this a little bit. So at the moment, I just have that A001 default sheets. And now if I run this again, fingers crossed, it will populate with a few more or 12 more sheets. Okay, good stuff. So I'll just close my Dynamo. It has created the sheets, and it also populated them with the title block that I asked and the sheet type and sheet subtype. Okay. And we have also here the F sheet type. So it organized everything. We didn't need to create any of this manually. So if I go to this one, same sheet type that it creates, and sheet subtype and sheet type F that I set up for fire layouts, and sheet subtype for floor plans. Well, this is it for today. I hope this has been useful for you and that you use this example to address that boring and repetitive task that has been daunting you for so long. To learn more in depth, attend an official Autodesk training course with Pentagon solutions. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe to be kept up to date with future videos. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter.